That's one way to start. Okay. I thought I saw something. Welcome everybody, Maniac for Bricks here with a spontaneous video. Obviously, once again. But this time, I thought it was kind of a nice one to try out. 2016 was when I started this Facebook album, for some reason, of my LEGO wanted list. And it's not like I haven't done that through the LEGO website directly, on Bricklink, on Brickset, any other places. And because of that, yes, it does vary quite a bit. There's a lot of things in the wanted list. But my tastes have changed over time. Some things I've been able to acquire or may just not find as appealing as I used to. So I thought it would be a cool idea to go through this particular wanted list, update some things, and maybe take some things out that don't appeal to me as much as it would have otherwise. There's been a bunch of things that I've picked up over the past year even that I would consider knocking off my wanted list, things that I have wanted for quite a long time, and, you know, I'm happy with that. And Happy New Year, by the way. I just gotta adjust one or two things in here, and then we'll get going. I guess it's been a while since I last streamed, because it says Deltarune in here. Alright. Yeah, I am not playing Deltarune today. Let's do that. Yeah. And good. Okay, cool. Solid. No worries if you didn't catch the live stream. I do these kinds of things impromptu and don't really share it across social media until after it's done, basically. So, most likely you're finding this on the Maniac for Bricks More YouTube channel, which may or may not get a name change. There's a bunch of things I want to readjust when it comes to the new year, but I will take care of that sometime later. There's even some other LEGO sets that have come up during this time that I probably wouldn't have thought of 10 years ago, or even known about, if that. Not even just because they're brand new, but what have you. Let's start things out at the top here. So, funny that there's just like a whole bunch of minifigs that line it up at first. I don't think I've picked up any of these minifigures in all that time. The Clockwork Robot is one I may have gotten recently. I can't remember exactly. I remember getting like a huge batch of minifigs with a couple of modulars last year, but I don't remember all the figures that were in there. So it may have had some CMFs like the Clockwork Robot, but I have to go through that more carefully and figure out. So I'm going to leave most of these minifigures alone for now. The Nurse CMF from Series 1, I could probably dish out right away, because I'm like, yeah, it's kind of generic by this point. It was cool, novel at that time, but compared to other CMFs, even in that same series, I was not rooting much for this one. I think the Zombie was the top one that I wanted from that series. Still haven't gotten this particular one, though I do have the one from the Reddish Brown version that came out later around the Monster Fighters wave. The Skateboarder, I think I have, or may have had at some point. I don't have the Zombie Skateboarder. That's, you know, kind of related, but I don't think I have that one. I guess it's not really imperative for me to get this particular native, as opposed to any other ones. I've gotten a whole bunch of them over the years that were like from the original Western theme, and then like other Western parts that came up in like build a minifigure or what have you. So for that particular one, no deep attachment. You know, Lederhosen guy, he's cool, but I've passed on him for a long time. I think I still have the Pretzel Girl, so there's a counterpart to that. I want to say I have this evil robot, but maybe not complete. I feel like the arm is missing or the head is missing. Something is missing on here. But I know that I have at least come across some of the parts for this Fig. I'm not going to go through every single one of these, I promise you. Atlantis. I'm not sure if... I mean, I know I don't have the Lobster Fig. But I don't remember if I have Brains or Jeff Fisher. I feel like I do. I feel like I've had this... Brains' head from here. And the suits are literally the same thing, so... I'll leave it alone for now. Yeah, this one's on the generic side. It's cool, colorful, but so are literally every minifig. So, not of a particular usage or specialty that I'm looking for at this moment. So, erase those. I know I have one of two of these pirate captains. I want to say the red one, Broadside. I'm not sure exactly. I'd have to look again before moving them on the list, up or down or anything. But yeah, I do like my pirate figs. I do like the pirate sets. I don't get a lot of pirate sets often. But, you know, I still try to put together some kind of pirate scenery every so often. I want to say I have the Ice Planet woman. Yeah, I'm not sure. This one I know I definitely have. I might even have two of them. I know I have one with like a really rough face print. I know I have two of these, that's for sure. I picked that one up last year to help with completing my Scorpion Pyramid. That was literally the only things missing from the set, from what I recall. Maybe like a few pieces here and there, but they were common. But definitely like exclusive parts of the set. The Anubis guards were missing. And they were not easy. They were not easy to find. There's a lot of Princess Leia's in here. I could skip on the majority of these, actually. I know I have a Princess Leia. I don't remember exactly where I have her. I know I had one in the classic form, the classic kind of outfit form, in a Death Star Escape kind of set. I don't remember if I still have this set, though. Hoth Leia, I don't remember if I have one. I feel like I do. I have the Hoth Millennium Falcon, so I think that has a Leia with it. I'll have to look into that later. The funny thing is, for even this long time, Star Wars figures... I've grown up with Lego Star Wars, you know, when it debuted onward. So, and my attachment to the Star Wars franchise, the Harry Potter franchise, a bunch of other licenses that have been evergreened, basically, at this point. There's a lot of them where I don't care for, like, a specific variant, or, like, I have to get every single variant of a particular character or anything like that. It's like, okay, if I get one, it's probably going to cover it, you know? There are only a handful of cases I can think of beyond that, but, like, you know, a Darth Vader is a Darth Vader, whether he has the classic version of the helmet or the elongated version that we know today, you know? I have multiple Boba Fett's. I don't care for all of them, but they're there. That's fine. It's whatever. Okay. Batman is kind of the same story. Yeah, that's cool, but I don't need every suit of Batman. There's some I, you know, could use literally the same way, and there would be different colors. I feel like I have this figure. I'd have to look again. I don't know. I feel like I've had it in hand before. Yeah, I can skip on the Jango Fett here. I can skip on Cole. Like, you know, the Jango figures are cool, and again, there's so many of them, so many variants of the same characters. I don't have to get every version of them to still appreciate them. we'll skip on this Vader as well, actually. I know I have the pants for Aang. I don't have the full costume, the full character. I want to say I have this princess. If I recall correctly, I think this is the Fantasy Era one. But, again, I'm working off of some memory. Obviously, I don't have everything in front of me to look through it more carefully. But, you know, I'm just like, you know what? I'll leave it on there. If I find it later, I can always nix it from the list. That's fine. But, like, out of all of these so far... Oh, definitely. Okay, jokingly, I have picked up almost every version of Jack Stone, just because they were dirt cheap. But anyways, yeah, there's a bunch of minifigs that already here. If I was in a Lego store, an official Lego store, I probably wouldn't even think about looking for them. But there are a few that I'd always be looking for, like the Nesquik Bunny, you know? Definitely would get that over most of these other ones. Like a higher priority kind of thing. The Magma Commander, I know I have the helicopter set. I don't think I have the particular figures, the robot figures from it, so I'll leave it there. That is a cool Scarecrow. And it's not a bad Joker, but again, I have a bunch of Jokers. I'm not seeking it out. This one, okay, so here's one I have picked up within the past year, or, you know, more recently, that I'm happy is in my collection. I think I got that at Brick Fair, Pennsylvania, in Oaks. The Spinjitzu spinners are really cool. I love them when Ninjago started. I love the cards. I love the artwork on the cards especially. Again, they're lower tier kind of things for me. They're not as high priority for me to collect all of the cards, spinners, accessories, the figs. I probably already have the figs in some other sets, you know. It would be nice to complete, like, a whole bunch of Lego card collections, for that matter. Like, Orient Expedition is probably the last one that I had actively tried to add more cards to. But, yeah. It's not like a high priority in terms of any Lego anything. This, however, definitely is. Now, since the search for this began, I can't believe that was a decade ago, but anyways, since I had first known of this thing, I have actually been able to find one, and not a light gray one, for that matter either, but one in blue. And it has appeared on Bricklink in other colors, very scarcely, usually from 1 or 2 sellers before it sells out real quick, but I myself have owned a blue one. I, again, don't have it readily available right here and next to me, but I have made a video about it when I received it. I took a bunch of photos of it with the Infomaniac. It's fun. I really enjoy that one. I still don't know the full story on its promotion, on why it exists, but it is an official thing. They've had it in a couple of different colors. And I'm led to believe it had to do with, like, the launch of Lego Island, or maybe an E3 where they showed off Lego Island. They did have one, I think it was 96 or 95, where they had, like, a giant brick-built computer, and they was showing Lego Island on it. But I don't know if that promotion, I don't know if these bricks were related to that, you know, display. I'm just assuming. A lot of ninja sets in here. The original ninja sets. Yeah, these are really cool. I'm not, you know, highly invested to get every single one of them. It's more of like, hey, I'd like to get 1 or 2, and these are ones in that variety. I have some of the smaller ninja sets in pieces and shambles somewhere. But I did grow up with some of them. They were enjoyable. Let's see. Still, Shipwreck Hideout is really cool. This is the Pirates I grew up with, 2009 Pirates. Because it would have been just after the last Pirates before that I would have been getting into Lego. And then this would be the next like major release of it. That wasn't just a 1 or 2 offsets or whatever. I do love these sets. I do love this sub theme of Pirates. Can we get that again? That being said, I did not get El Dorado Fortress or the Barracuda Bay sets of more recent years. I would like to, and I tried to get El Dorado recently before it sold out, but that just didn't happen. When it went down to $75, it was gone. Like none of my retailers near me had it available. So there's that. Power Miners, I still want to complete all of those sets, and I have been chipping away at it for a little bit. I have seen the Rock Wrecker pop up on a couple places, although incomplete. So I'm like, how much do I want to really fetch through all the parts for it? The Crystal Sweeper, however, I do definitely have. I think it's still missing some parts here and there, like small pieces at the catapult. But, the base vehicle is there, and enough to continue working with that. So I'm very happy that's in the collection. This is like the one... It's either the second to last or the last Alpha Team Mission Deep Freeze vehicle that I don't own or have never owned. There are a few other ones that are built currently, so, there's a little leeway with that. It's one I've always been curious about, even though it's probably not all too special, or you kind of get the gist of it just from the picture. I mentioned before having this agent set, and I'm literally looking at that on the shelf right next to me. It is missing some pieces. I think some minifigs are missing from it. I mentioned before about the minions from here, and this little rock face headquarters thing is not part of it. I only got the helicopter by itself, and even then, like I said, it's still some parts missing. The tail of this, not very good. I mean, like, it's sturdy, so it's not going to fall out, but it's very hard to hold it without chipping pieces off by accident. I've tried that a few times and had problems with it. The gold hunt, or this gold chasing scene, I believe I have that complete. I'm looking at it from here. It's in a bag on the shelf, so I don't know exactly if it has all the parts to it, but enough for me to say, yes, I know I have this set. And the instructions, it looks like. So, Vamoose. A lot of Aquazone. Surprisingly, Aquazone, for as much as I love LEGO underwater themes, I don't have that much Aquazone. I had a display case at one point, which is now in good hands. I've owned like 2 or 3 other Aquazone sets now, which I'm sure if they come up in the list later, I'll breeze through them. One of them is actually from the Aqua Raiders, but that's a large version, not this one. That's a small version. Time Cruisers. I have thought about the Mystic Time Lab a few times recently, and it included box and instructions, but I haven't pulled the trigger on that one yet. Up to this point, I have owned every Time Cruisers and Time Twisters set except for these 2. But currently, I don't remember how many of them I do own. I have 2 of them that are on the shelf right now, and if there are other ones in my collection, they're probably in storage currently. They've been in... I know they've been in storage for quite some time. I think this might be a duplicate of another picture up here. No? I thought I had a pirate set in there before, but alright. Let's skip on the Bat Boat from 06. I've had the Killer Croc at one point. but not for very long. The Arkham Asylum is okay. Nothing inherently wrong with it, but I do have the 2012 version. I love that one. I still have to fix that up. It's still missing some pieces, but that is if I had to pick one a variant of Arkham Asylum, that one's it. Even over the Lego movie or Lego Batman movie 1, which is good, and the one that just came out last year was really good too. This one I just thought was really creative, especially for the Scarecrow with the biplane. The helicopter for the Batman isn't really that much. That being said, it's a biplane. I probably have a dozen biplanes. If I really needed to throw Scarecrow in a biplane, I can do that without having to use this set particularly. I feel like I own this set at some point. This is one I definitely wanted for a long time, but I know I have parts related to it. Maybe not the whole thing. Maybe I just scrolled through it on Marketplace or something and didn't actually own it yet. The Bat Tank is just ridiculous. It's fine, but yeah, I can't see myself getting into that like I used to. Again, for Bat Caves, this is really good. I like this Bat Cave a lot. There's been a dozen of them. The one I have currently is a dark blue 2012-ish version, and that suits me fine. Especially shelf-wise, it's not taking up too much space. It's easy to maneuver around it, so nothing wrong with that. But I do respect this one for having accessibility for all the other Batman vehicles in that same wave. Maybe the Dragster. That might be the only one I can think of from 2006 Batman that wouldn't fit so well. And for reference, the Bat Tank and this helicopter were a little later than that. Either the next year or 2008 was a different thing. So yeah, it was probably just later in the same year or the year after. I'll pass. I'll pass on that for now. There are going to be some more Bionicle sets in here that's kind of going to be a mishmash as far as themes go. They're not all in any particular order. I have looked through for this one a couple of times. There was one store I remember in Pennsylvania that I was very close to buying it, but I couldn't tell from the bags if it was complete, so I passed on it. Maybe for the best. I have seen it come up recently on Marketplace, but it's in a huge lot with a bunch of other things, and they're asking a lot for everything, so fair enough. And I passed on that. This, for some reason, fascinates me as a city, town, police station, and I have a couple beyond this. One's older and newer than this one. But for some reason, Central Precinct, I like the look of this one. It's not the best image here, but, you know, I just kind of grabbed images from Google, obviously, and just smacked them into the album. I would like to get some Islanders. I think I have a few Islander figures, but I don't think I have an Islander set beyond the King Kahuka throne. Holiday Village does not exist. This was never released, but any parts from similar sets would be helpful in trying to build a replica of it. You could build a good chunk of this out of existing pieces. And obviously this is for Lego Island purposes more than anything else, because it's definitely referenced in Lego Island, even if it was never released. Speaking of Lego Island, yeah, I have this. I believe it was 2 summers ago, I picked up every Lego Island Extreme Stunt set. There were ones that I grew up with, there were ones I was trying to rebuild, but I was able to find them in just a couple of lots for the other remaining ones. I still have a few parts here and there to get, especially common pieces, but virtually I have a complete collection of them. And I've been meaning to do a retrospective for those sets. I took a lot of really good photos in 2024. based off of like having them at the beach and the boardwalk and things like that. I had a lot of fun with that. But yeah, I have yet to record and release videos. YouTube videos is a whole nother subject. I would love to talk more about that, but this is already a lot as it is. This is a basic car. It's really nice, but I could probably build it out of my own pieces. I'll nix the post office here for now. It's not really that appealing to me now. This, I have seen this a couple times in person. I would still like to get that. Lego Racers nostalgia aside. I would pass on this. So, I have the middle ground of Aqua Shark sets. I think it's called Deep Sea Predator, if I remember correctly. And that one's basically like, it does everything just right. It's not too small to be awkward. It's not too big to be, overbearing. It gets it just right. Now, with that being said, I did have another Aqua Shark set up here on the list. I have the base plate for it. And, if I did find this at a reasonable price, I wouldn't mind it. But even if I just stuck with the base plate that I have, some plant life, whatever, sharks, and the Deep Sea Predator set, I'm fine with that. I have that one with box too, so that's fun. This, I've seen a couple of times in the same Lego store, and then and passed on it almost every single time, and thought like, you know what, maybe next time I'll get it. $35 is a lot for it with box. I'll think about it, or I might save up for it later. Eventually, I went back and I'm like, oh, okay, I want to look for this set. Both of them were gone. I would love to get this still. I think it's like a nice compact set that offers the Hydronauts, features very well. But we'll see if that comes back around. Where am I? Yeah, it's kind of, another basic one. Don't have too much attachment to this and need to keep it on the list. It's like one I just remember seeing in the catalogs all the time as a kid. So, I'll pass on that. I'll keep the Islanders, keep the Pirates. This Adventurer set, I haven't complete. I don't remember if I still have the plane for it, but I know I've had, parts to this thing, not the whole set. There was a time around 2020 where I got a bunch of Adventurer sets. I was trying to get more of the collection complete, and I still have that to work on, and that's going to be a whole nother thing. Orient Expedition as well. But I do remember getting the plane from this set included with other sets. It was like with the Pharaoh's Forbidden Ruins or something. I don't remember if I have this whole thing complete. If I do have parts of it, I would like to complete it. But I'll leave it there for now. UFO Action Pack, I have the CD, which is probably the most prominent exclusive part of this thing, next to the box itself. Do I have the sets? I've had one of the sets from here, because it was its own, all three of these were its own release at some point. It would be nice if I had the box, but that's about it. If I wanted to get each of these sets, they're not that hard to piece together. Lego Racers on Game Boy Color. I think I have this. I could have sworn I got this at some point. Because around 2020, before the pandemic really hit off, I wanted to try collecting every Lego video game and every variant. And because of every variant, I'd also have to collect a system in order to run each of those games. Like, I didn't ever own a PSP or PS Vita. I'd rarely owned a Nintendo DS up to that point. So, it was like, okay, well, I'll have to, dip in further to those things, too. That added up so fast, and that was already beyond the games I have collected on, the Wii, Xbox 360, PC, GameCube, N64, other consoles I already owned for years, for decades at that point. To try to find every game edition and variation was a lot to ask for. And PC ones, it goes insane. Because you have the original release, a whole bunch of re-releases, a Masterpiece Edition, some that are packaged with other games, one or two of them, Lego Creator, I think, was packaged with cereal at one point. General Mills had a cereal promotion with a bunch of games. So, it spiraled out of control fast, because my point of collecting all of those was to try to dissect them and find the variances between them. And there were some cases where I couldn't really tell. There were some, I was just like, this is the same exact game as the other CD that I have, like 3 or 4 copies of from Goodwills here and there. It's like, it's not really making a difference. So, I don't exactly remember if I still have the Game Boy Color version of Racers, particularly, but I wouldn't be surprised if I picked it up at some point. I got this base plate actually fairly recently, like a couple of years ago, and I like it. I have used it only a handful of times so far, but still want to use it more. So, goodbye. Don't need that in here. Space base plate, I have 2 of these, and they're working very nicely with some of the space sets. I mentioned before having the Aqua base plate, the same Crater base plate, but in blue. I don't really, it's not that I don't care for this one. It's nice with the Paradisa, but if I was getting this base plate, I would probably get the rest of the Paradisa sets to go with it, or what that came with it. And I'd also have a hard time using it on its own. Another topic for another day I have to get into is the Studside Heights, Lego Beach Town. I've been meaning to really rehaul that thing for over a year, maybe even longer than that. But this base plate, while it would be nice to pair up there as a shoreline, I already have pieces. I already have base plates that work for the shoreline and would blend better in color. Because not many of these base plates were medium green or had medium green attached to them. So it's not that easy to work with unless I made it like a really shallow area or something. It's like, I'll stick with what I got. I think it'll work fine. Some of these other base plates I'm going to keep in here because I do like the rocky textures. I do have the idea for a modular rocky cliff area, so, these would work with that very well. I had some of these Matoran recently, maybe 2 years ago. Some of them just the boxes, some of them with the figures. I don't recall which ones that I still have. And frankly, they're, again, on the low end as far as Bionicle, as far as the ones that I want. They would be nice to put together, and I do know some of these characters, so it would be nice to have, every Matora or whatever, and different variants and whatever. But they also don't do that much for me right now, and they haven't done anything for me in quite some time, so I'm going to pass on that. Takuta I could completely wipe that out. I already have, since childhood, I've had both of the models separately as their own sets. This, as the whole thing, I don't need to get as, the combo set. I have the movie edition mask that was released with this, or at least released in some variants of this. And of all places, it wasn't even from the Takuta I got it from a used Bionicle lot that I was getting for a particular other set. It's like, oh hell yeah, this is worth it just for itself. I might pass on the Visorak Gate because there's really not that much depth to it as it would appear. I think the novelty of it being an exclusive or a limited time thing was what made me more interested in it than before. But, I have a couple of the sets from the playset era. This basically does the same thing as those. I would rebuild the Tower of Toa. That would be fine. and still get the same enjoyment out of it. The Baraki Deep Sea Patrol is cool. I still want to get these figures, and I do remember looking at them at Brick Fair, Pennsylvania in Oaks this past November. They were kind of expensive per figure, so I passed on them for now. Eventually, I'd like to get them, even with just the figures by themselves. And let's see. Harry Potter is definitely going to get a lot of reduxing in here. Like, yeah, there are some sets that I think would still be cool, but, you know, I have a Hogwarts castle. I have rooms in the Hogwarts castle. It's not as imperative as before to get some of these, unless it's out of, like, oh, that's a particular scene. Oh, that's, you know, or anything like that. I have a Hogwarts Express. I don't think I have it on the tracks currently, but again, the kind of thing that's like, it gets recycled, and that's fine, and it works for a lot of other people getting into different franchises. But as somebody who's already grown up with it for a long time and already had that breadth of access, I don't need to worry about it. Now, with that being said, one in here that I'm happy to knock off the list that I do have. I picked this up last year for $100. It was complete. It had all the pieces. The pieces were in great shape. It had the box and instructions. The box was a little bit sun-bleached, if anything. But yes, very happy with owning the original Chamber of Secrets. The Shelob, I was always curious about when I was a kid, but I have watched some Cheesy Studios videos, and that also kind of satiates some of the Harry Potter in the list, where it's like, oh, well, now I know what they're like, and, you know, I can pass on the older ones, or even some of the newer ones I've passed on, just because it's like, I already get the vibe of it from the video. Yeah, let's take out Dobby. I probably have like 3 Dobby figures. There's no reason to own this thing other than just recreating that scene, which I could do from a lot of other parts. Yeah, I still like the Graveyard Duel. I still like the way that looks. A bunch of other ones in here, a little bit of nostalgia here and there. This I've grown to liking more than one I did when it first came out. Because I didn't really know much about this scene. I didn't even see this movie at that time. The Prisoner of Azkaban. I have watched it at least twice since then, and I better understand the context of these. I have the Changing House from the Shrieking Shack. Like, the rest of it's fine, but I definitely like this. And as a unique Lego element. Let's go further down. So I mentioned before, this is like the second Arkham Asylum that I like, is the Lego Batman movie one. But like I said, if I put the other one together, I think that covers it. It's still very gray. So that's one thing this one has an advantage over, is that, oh, it's got a little more color, a little more life to it. But it's, yeah, I'm not worried about it as much. We can skip on this Bat Cave as well. You could skip on this Batmobile as well. I probably have like 2 or 3 different versions of the Batmobile. I don't remember if I still have the 06 one anymore, but I did get that at some point after making this list. Didn't have it on the list, particularly, though. I'll mix some of the Hero Factory things. They're fine. I feel like I have some of these, but I don't remember off the top of my head at the moment. Honestly, it's not even that I need to get this particular auto car set. It's just the diecast cars that I'd be looking for, and that's in general. So, Honestly, I could just fill that in with a picture of the die-cast cars, and it would do the same thing. For some reason, I have two of the same set in here. For some reason, one after the other. I think I did own this friend's restaurant at some point, and I parted it out, so I don't miss it. It might be appealing to build it, but you know, I'm moving on to other things. Kid Clay, I think I just found fascinating just for having a kid version. When none of the Nexo Knight sets had a Kid Clay, it was just a magazine gift. This grocery store is probably a little less exciting than I thought back then. And I have gotten another one that has a shopping cart that I like. So, yeah, I can say no. I can ditch that one. This, it's like Chef Gorgonzola is from the Lego Movie. Very similar look, different expression. That's not the same expression in here. And I think this one is a San Diego Comic-Con Unikitty or something. I think that's why it's in here particularly. I don't know why else it would be. I know I have a Starfire. I could probably nix the Robin in here because I could, if I wanted Teen Titans Robin. I think I have. Well, I have the Teen Titans from the Dimensions game, but I don't think they included a Robin. And if I wanted one like that, I could always, you know, create it again like this one. I don't know. Anime Joker, Man Bat. I feel like I have a Man Bat, but I don't remember offhand. Again, the supermarket, yeah, it's cool, but I'm covered on that. I feel like I have this helicopter, but I don't know for sure. I did pick up a couple of Ultra Agent sets last year, but I don't remember if this was one of them. The Ocean HQ was one of them, and that one I'm very happy with. Yeah, I can skip on this as well. The Ghost Rider set, by this point, like, yeah, it's a nice set, and if I had gotten it earlier as a whole thing, I'd be pleased with it. But I've gotten parts of this individually, and that basically covers the same ground. I have the Hobgoblin minifigure. I have a Ghost Rider minifigure. I may not have this particular motorcycle or glider, but I'm not worried about it. I'm not worried about this particular one. So, yeah, we've taken care of business on that. To be fair, this Jokerland has a bunch of these minifigs in it. This has, I see here, it has Beast Boy, Starfire, Robin. Already covers bases there. I think I had the Harley Quinn from this set for a while, for some reason, and I don't think I still do. I'm not worried about it. This one I like the boat, so yeah, I'll stick with that. I've had like some pieces from this, but don't have the full set, so eventually that'll be cool. I feel like I have this set. Again, this is one that I'm like, I'm pretty sure I've picked this up, but I don't know where it is. I have garbage trucks. Not too concerned with that. I'm trying to think of the main draw here. It's not the helicopter, that's for sure. It's this. But this is also very basic. And I've seen other things like this more recently that I'm more interested in. So, you're out. This buggy set down here. Yeah, not saving it the full thing. You're out. I did own this set at one point, and then I parted it out and didn't care to come back for it, even though construction stuff is nice and it would easily fit into any scenario. I'm not missing it. Yeah, we'll pass in the bank. I know I have another bank I like better. Maybe some of these were like new at the time, or at least more fresh in my mind, you know. And there's just a lot of guys in green overalls. Does it really make a difference as to which one I get? No. So I can delete most of these. They all have common faces, common hair pieces. I probably have the torso somewhere. So it does not concern me eliminating these. It's probably just because I wanted to make one of every classic overalls minifig, like from Lego Creator kind of thing, like the board game Lego Creator, I should say. Because it's like, oh, if you get this particular one, it's from a modular, and this one is from a farm set, and, you know, it's like, whatever. Easy for me to swap the heads and things around. There are also some of these images that, because I got them from Google, are really low quality. So, you can barely make out what some of these things are. I still want to complete this and the other fig that were from the Ideas book. But, I know I have the other figure from here. I don't remember if I got this one. Yep. Okay, I was right. This is the San Diego Comic-Con Unikitty that was shown up here. And since it's already in the list, we'll delete the duplicate. It's always been in the back of my mind of getting some of these sets. Not necessarily to complete the Lego Movie theme, but, you know, to try out more things. And speaking of trying out more things, as of New Year's Day, I have picked up the Sea Cow. Yeah, I still have to build it. Don't get me wrong. But I own that. And now it goes out of the list. There's a lot of other random pieces in here that I could definitely dish out. Like, they're nice styles, but I don't have a particular purpose for them right now. So they're just gonna go. Again, this is not going to be at all in sync with any other wanted lists I have on any other Lego-related site. But at least I can say, hey, I've gone through one of these that, you know, I definitely have changed opinions over time. I like these CDs. And I basically have the set in here because of the CDs. And I think Lego Island was in here. I have that as a tile somewhere. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, the VHS tapes. This is in here just for this variant that includes the Infomaniac inside. That's literally it. Yeah, these are their VHS tapes, books. I do have a business figure, but it's not one that's listed here even. So I guess because I had thrown all these in here of like, well, I'd like to get one, I could technically remove them. Because some of these other names I don't have particular attachment to. That would like still keep them in the list. Yeah, I would still like to get the Zack Lego Maniac figure. That's really cool. I'll take out this one because that's more generic by this point. Yeah, standard employee. That's cool. Not easy to come by though. Yeah, take out more of these business figs. That again, I don't recall the names offhand. So it's not like I have to look for that particular name or anything. I mean, there's a few I do know. But I guaranteed that when I put these on the list in the first place, it was just to show that there are different types of them. And not because I wanted to get every one of them or particular names of them. To be fair, this is actually something I do a lot. I have on my personal Facebook, I have a bunch of lists of wanted items or keeping track of things. Like, yeah, I have Letterboxd, but I still have a Facebook album that's about, what movies or TV shows that I watch. Of tracking that way. I feel like I have one of these My Styles, but I don't remember which or by how far. So, I'll leave it alone. Mount Everest. Got it. I got that one within the past 2 years at least. Scorpion Palace. I believe I got that last year. I'm looking at it right next to me. With the box and all. Heroica. Something that I'd like to try out. Never really had any of the sets for it. And I do see it float around every so often. The Tan Pizza. I'm going to leave that on there. I do have a Tan Pizza. I got that a couple months ago, actually. But I'm going to leave it on there. And it's always nice to have more than one. Or if it does, show up. Arrivals, departures. I probably have these in here for Lego Brick Theory stuff when I did that. But, yeah, I'll leave it alone for now. The only Primo Lego figure, which is stupidly expensive and yet highly obscure. I don't think I have that set. Couple of random pieces here. I'm gonna remove this. There were some of these pieces I put in here because I was going to try to work on a Rock Raiders Power Miners mock at that time, but that panned out, and I've not really tried anything close to it since then. They're still cool designs. A lot of polybag. I used to be in a polybag, collection phase. And over time, they were either ones which is hard to find or did not care for them, so I just kind of fizzled out from that. Oh, it would have been a duplicate anyways. Go figure. I'm gonna pass on that. I have a couple other A-Wings, so I'm not worried about this particular version. Air Raid Zeppelin. I used to collect the Bricktobers as well. I don't think I have as many of them anymore, so this one is okay to fall out from there. And that's it. Wow. Oh, I really thought the page was going to refresh and it's going to have like a dozen more down here. Would I add anything to this list? Probably. I can think of a couple things. Old, new. Oddly enough, Bionicle is one of those where I'm like basically capped. It's like I've got what I got from there and I'm not worried about it. If anything, by this point, it's just pieces to complete figures or sets for Bionicle particularly. Like, I'm looking at the shelf for 2007 Bionicle. I have every retail set from there. If I really wanted to get into the good guys and bad guys from that theme, yeah, I could pick those up, but I'm not really concerned about it. And they're also really easy to part together for the most part. I still have a ton of Lego books in here. I could probably dish out some of these. I have been trying to wean down the Lego book collecting as well over time. At least over the past 2 years, I've realized that there are a lot of Lego books that I almost never read. And having them does not add any more knowledge or information to me. Especially when they're, like, literally made for kids. But, you know, there are idea books that are still valuable. There are still technic or builder guides, things that I can still appreciate. So, there are books that have merit, and some less than others, that I've tried to shift out of them from collecting. I think the last major one I've picked up was Minifigures of Visual History with the orange spaceman. But also because I wanted the orange spaceman. Out of This World looks like was another one. Yeah. Okay. Not all the books with minifigures do I need to get the minifigures. Sometimes I'm fine with just the book by itself. I don't really care for the minifig. So there's that. If I wanted to throw in anything currently... So I did have the Downtown Diner technically in last year. But I also sold it because I had to make car repairs. And it was an easy way to fund that. So that's the first thing on my mind that I would throw into the wanted list. As far as modulars go, I own the Parisian restaurant. The pet shop, but it's in Leppen, which I don't mind. That's fine. I've built it before, I've destroyed it before, and, you know, it does a job. The detective's office was my number one, and I did get that late last year, and I'm very happy with it. But beyond that, I'm not really looking to get other modulars, or at least for keeps for long. Yes, last year when I got the Downtown Diner, I had also picked up a couple other modulars, but they weren't really for the intention of holding in my collection for a long time. I mean, heck, one of them was a duplicate of the Parisian restaurant. I wanted to use that for trade because I got it at a good deal. I thought I'd be able to trade it towards something greater after that point. So we'll see, you know, and I did get to sell that, even though, again, did not anticipate I was going to have a car issue. So there's that. But Downtown Diner was one of those that I did get that I had to let go. I would have liked to keep it if I didn't have that issue. But, you know, I'm sure it'll return. I did call a couple stores today just out of curiosity if they had it available, but nothing's come up yet. Eventually it comes back around, though. whether through Marketplace or unofficial LEGO stores. So I can wait on it. I've waited this long as it is, so I can still wait a bit longer. But yeah, after 4 modulars, I can't really see myself going further with it for shelf space, for expenses, for just the breadth of it, and for the theme itself. It's like there's a lot of other ones are cool and fine, but they don't appeal to me the same way that the Parisian Restaurant, the Detective's Office, the Downtown Diner do. Even the Pet Shop, if I had a buyer, I wouldn't mind if it went. Like, it's very standard, so it works fine for that. But I also don't think many people would want it in Lepin form. And when I got it, I knew it was going to be in Lepin form. It was as a trade, but, you know, I wanted to give it a fair chance. I had never had Lepin before that point, and I wanted to see how accurate it was, and it was actually scarily accurate to standard LEGO pieces. So, if I were to think now, and we've had a lot more themes since then. We've had Dreams, we've had Monkey Kid, we've had, since 2016, we've had more in different licenses, like, maybe not more, I don't know. I'm looking around here and trying to figure out if there's something in particular. Even for figures, off the top of my head, I'll probably have more to add to the LEGO Wanted list, or at least this particular LEGO Wanted list, when I go over the other ones, and I'm not going to do those on camera, or I may not do all of them on camera at least. But even if I went over other lists that might have stuff that I could add in, if I went over, like, if I do more cleanup and more rearranging in the LEGO room, I'll probably be like, oh, that's something I didn't think of before, and I'll add that to the list. Am I going to make an updated video or blog post about it or anything like that? I don't know. Hasn't really crossed my mind currently. I know I have another blog post that's of like my top 10 or 20 wanted LEGO things, and that's probably a bit outdated by now too, and even then it wasn't that well ranked. Some of it was in order, some of it wasn't. For LEGO 2025, no, 2026, I mean, sorry. For LEGO 2026, there's not a lot I've been looking for right now. I mean, they literally just came out. They're probably going to sell out real fast, and they're going to restock. So, you know, there's no huge rush to get them this very minute. But yeah, the DeLorean would be nice. I did finally get the Icons DeLorean last year. I got it used. I was very happy with it. I still need a proper place for putting that and the Beetle and a couple other things of that nature. Again, it's just like the modulars. It's like I don't want to get every single one of them, and there are some that I, you know, think look fine, but I don't, you know, but I can pass on them. So yeah, Lightning McQueen, yeah, he's up there as well. I'm just trying to find a proper image. As a review copy. Yeah, I was trying to look for like a product image. Yeah, that one's better. Like, preferably, if I'm going to add some of these, I'm going to add it with the... You know, now that I think about it, I'm going to do that over here. If I'm adding the full set, I should probably add it with the set box. Like, even if I don't want the box or don't care if the instructions are there or not, it at least has a bit more information in it. Like the set name and number. So, let's do that instead. No. Nope. Yep. And yep. So it has nothing to do with the fact that my birthday's in like 3 weeks. But it's something to consider. Yeah, I'll throw those in for now, and then I'll look back if I'm inclined for others. Now that I think about it, I think I do have some on my... I only need the right arm on this figure and its weapon. Yeah, there you go. So I did have captions on some of these. Only need the shield and bow. Working with someone to complete this figure. Definitely need the armor piece, any condition, possibly head. Okay, I don't think I'm working on that anymore. I feel like I have the torso. But this caption is no longer, it's out of date. I have this guy from Ocean HQ, but it doesn't have the helmet with him. Because they didn't include it with it. Only need the hair. Oh, that's why she's in here. I might have the hairpiece. It might be with a different figure. I'm not sure. So, maybe you'll pass on that. A bunch of these I probably need to update the photos as well. But I could still recognize them, so I'm not worried about it. I know there's like a friend's mansion. Andrea's mansion. Yeah. It's sold out on the LEGO website currently. But I do remember looking at that in the store and I'm like, dang, that's pretty cool. Is there a better picture of the box? Yeah, that's much better. Honestly, I can't even think of for the Sea of F lines. Because, like, Disney, Marvel, and Spider-Verse, I've almost entirely skipped. I have a few figures in each of those, but I don't really care to get a whole bunch more. And with Spider-Verse, I'd probably be more inclined if I actually watched the film than just picking up the stray, you know, Gwen Stacy or whoever, 2099 or something, you know, here and there. I'm just trying to remember who was in that line. You know, Miles Morales I have just from other sets. So the one that's included in here, probably a little more particular to that film. I have all the Dino Attack sets. What I don't have are the Dino 2010 sets. But I don't think there's going to be a singular collage image available here for me to list that. As much as I'd like to. And to be fair, I do have some repeats of Dino Attack sets for the purpose of recreating as 2010 sets. So, there's that. I have to go through the parts list. I know I had looked at the parts list for the sets before, and there are some that have exclusive pieces, some that don't. But at that point, it's just Bricklink ordering. So, if I really wanted to throw something Dino 2010 in there, it would be the parachute. And I think there was a kite. It was either that or for Dino Attack. Yeah, Dino Attack kite. I didn't really go over it on social media that much, but last year, 2025, was heavy on Lego Dino for me. For some reason, I just wanted to keep collecting Lego Dino sets from pretty much each theme. And there wasn't any rhyme or reason to it beyond the Dino Attack sets. The Dino Island ones were something that was just like, yeah, I'd like to get more of them, because I never really gave them much of a chance beyond the really small sets. And then Jurassic World, there's a ton of them, but I only want a handful of figures or some of the vehicles or just finding some of them at a good deal. So, yeah, that's fine. There's almost the entire line of Zero Max dinosaur sets that I've picked up from other stores. They were really dirt cheap, and I thought, hey, that's not a bad value for, what you get in there. I have yet to build them, though. They're still in the backlog. And I finished off the year for Dino stuff with a Dino set that I used to own, traded it with someone, wasn't even sure if it was complete at the time that I had traded it, but they were still willing to take it on anyways. And now I have it back in my collection. And it is complete. And it has box, and I love it. Interestingly enough, I probably should put Adventurers in here and Orient Expedition. I'm surprised it wasn't on this list already. Even if I already have a lot of the major players from each of the sub-themes. So, what would be left? What would be other ones? Like, yeah, it'd be cool to collect every single one of them. Adventurers is one of my favorite themes of all time from LEGO, especially as an original theme. But, with that being said, there are a lot of them that I could pass over, Is it imperative that I get this little raft? No. I have almost all the jungle sets. I think I got some big lot with most of them last year. That was kind of just by surprise. For Dino Island, I'm not really looking into the compound. So this tracker I've had before as a kid. I grew up with this, but would be willing to get that again. I have the Island Racer. That's fine. The Emperor's ship from Orient Expedition I have partially built. I don't recall if I have the pontoon plane. That's like the only one I can think of. That and the Island Hopper, I know I've owned at some point, but I don't recall if I still own them right now. I thought I had this still. Can't remember where, but I know I looked for it recently. And I thought I was going to use this one for trade, but I don't remember if I actually did. You know, these really small ones would be neat, but they're not pivotal. Again, they can be built out of other parts. It's not a big deal. I'm trying to think if there's anything more remarkable. The Lost Tomb would be nice to have again. That one did have a little bit of unique pieces to it, but it's also stupidly expensive for what it is. So maybe we'll part it together. Oasis Ambush, I don't know where it is. I know I've bought the set before. I have yet to find it in my collection, but for the safety for now, I'll say, oh, let's throw it on the list just to be sure. You know, we're still interested in looking for it. I have all of the Pharaoh's Quest sets. Not a concern there. Oh! I need to get the Rock Raiders. There's still one or two Rock Raider sets that I have been chipping away at, no pun intended, for quite some time. And still have not acquired. Yeah, before I get there, I just want to do a quick glance over Orient Expedition. If there's anything that really stands out to me. When it comes to, like, merchandise, that's a whole nother story, but, you know, unless I can think of it off the top of my head, like, you know, the parachute from Dino Attack, I'm not worried. Sticker sheet. Yeah, when I put the Orient Expedition and Adventurer shelves together, that should clarify where I am for collecting them. But yeah, let me hop over to Rock Raiders. That one, I am 2 sets from completing the theme. And they're not really expensive sets either, but I always forget about, like, looking for them or looking for parts for them. And no, it's not the Chief. Oh, me getting an original Chief again, it would be unheard of. It was already unheard of that I got in the first place. And again, very reasonable for me to let that go because, you know, of the timing of everything. But yeah, the Chrome Crusher and the Hover Scout, I have parts for them, but I do not have them complete. I think I have, like, just the instructions and some parts for the Chrome Crusher. So yeah, for sure, lock those in. Trying to think of other themes recently that I've explored. Looked into. Mars Mission is something that I used to own a whole bunch of them. Almost like half the theme even. I have slowly gotten some back, but have not been pursued to get all of them again. There are, again, some that I could skip and not miss, you know, dearly. Indiana Jones, I had a couple of sets, but again, I'm not missing them right now, so it's not a concern of mine. Divers is in good shape. Ooh! City of Atlantis. Maybe I won't get every Atlantis set, but I would definitely like to get one of the last ones in the theme, which would also probably make it more difficult to obtain. I know I did a video not too long ago about the tier list of Atlantis and Hidden Side. Hidden Side, I have that theme complete except for Polybags, and would still like to do a retrospective based off of it. I can't remember off the top of my head what else I was thinking for Atlantis, but these 3 sets were coming to my mind. There are other ones that are like, I know I don't have it, but do I really need the whole thing? Probably not. This one doesn't tell me the set name because it's a European box, but it does have the set number, which is still important information. Lego Friends Boardwalk. It was a recent set, but it still intrigued me. Their amusement park. Oh yeah, there was a skate park in City I liked. Not just Friends. I have a hard time with Monkey Kid. I'm not going to say I have all the sets that I ever want from them, but the ones that I don't have, especially the ones that are out currently, don't really do much for me. I've watched a show, and it's fine, but it's just like mechs upon mechs now. And sure, they were mechs even from the start, but even more so now, or like proportionally more now, than it was before. So I have had a little less interest in that theme. And also because they just completely, upended themselves from American markets. So that sucks. It's really disappointing that I want some of the polybags more than I want, like, the mainline sets. I did have this set at one point, and I don't care much for the racer, but I would like to get my Golden Boys back, the demons. I don't know if there's a singular image that has both of them. It's not that I have to get them both at the same time, but it would just make it easier to identify them. I think I have the Bone Demon. I don't have to worry about that one. I mean, that's what thumbnail. It's not exactly what I was looking for. That one's basically a thumbnail again. Again, I was trying to look for a product image. And the ones from the city set aren't bad, but, you know, a lot less character. Since they're just more, you know, dressed up. I really thought that would help. And it kind of did. But it's still not a singular image with both. This is really oversaturated. Or from a review or something. Again, I was trying to look for like a product image. And that might be the next best thing. Alright, now we're talking. Yeah, let's go with that. Save this just in case. Like, they're goofballs, sure, but they're my goofballs. They remind me of, like, Team Rocket. Goofy, sometimes a threat, but, you know, actually trying to put effort in. There we go. Don't remember if I already saved that one, but now I have. Lurgo. I don't know why it says Lurgo. What other themes? I could think of like a scattered video figure here and there. especially ones that came out in the second wave. For fun, I've tried to put together what tiles I own from video, and it's a good number of them. I don't aim to complete the series because the app is dead, but it's good to know that, you know, I got a whole lot of them. Mostly just so I can make a record store and put those in as albums. Is that sand blue on his arms? It looks like it is. It's cool. Yeah, why not? I think I already have that one. It was in a beatbox. This was in the limo. Which, okay, we'll put the limo set itself in there. The stages weren't awful. I like the pirate one. I mean, secretly, yeah, I would love Lego 12 volt trains. Problem is, I can't afford them because they're ridiculously expensive. And even if I could, I can't put them anywhere. They take up a lot of space, but they look gorgeous. I'd love to see them in person at some point. There's a separate Lego wanted list that I have of sets to experience, because I thought that would be a thing at the time. Like, oh, maybe if I can't own the set, then I'll at least see it in person. Which is not a bad idea, but yeah, Lego 12 volt train is definitely up there, and it's not just one set. It would be anything from that line. Ooh, I do know what I want to put in here. Frick, if only I could think of the actual... Yeah, it's too generic. If I could think of the actual set name or number, that would be very helpful. But a whole bunch of Duplo sets I grew up with, because I have steadily been collecting Duplo over the years, recollecting some of the ones I used to own, and expanding upon it. Not just for, like, special, event purposes, but I do actually enjoy playing around with them. I do enjoy the parts, I do enjoy the figs, I do enjoy the different things available for them. So, yeah, I need to find a better box image. This is definitely one of the sets, though. 2674. Ah, perfect. But, like, if there are some I can remember from my childhood, yeah, I would definitely throw them in here. What? Oh, they're in there. Okay. Just reverse the order of them. I have, I forgot to bring the Winnie the Pooh stuff, and they're sitting right behind me this whole time. Damn. All right, whatever. I mean, I'll still put them with the Duplo stuff, but it's not. Yeah, it's whatever. Do I have Duplo dinosaurs? Do I have Duplo Jurassic World? I used to own a caveman dinosaur set. So, yeah. But on my dinosaur spree last year, Duplo was not considered. I have picked up Jurassic World Duplo previous years, though. I have a couple of those sets and dinos. And really, that's all it needs to be. I don't need every animal under the sun. You know what? This might be the set that I'm thinking of. 2603. Yeah, with the big tub. I probably still have the tub itself. That's the interesting part. 1.5 to 5. I keep forgetting that there's like halves. They did it at that time. I think they still do that with Duplo. It's still kind of blurry, even if it's a larger resolution. There was one with a clown car, I remember. There were a few clown car ones. Yeah, like that kind of track. It's probably this. Something that basic. So that's 2284. Remember there was like a fire chief one. That's it! 100%. That's the exact one. Damn. I didn't even know if it was called Fire Chief. I just guessed. That's amazing. What a hell of a guess that was. Trying to look for a better image, but might be as good as it gets. Still see the set number on there, though. Dusty on my keyboard. Okay. I'm sure I have a list of other ones I could think of. For both Duplo and System and Galador and everything. Galador, to be honest, the only thing I could think of for Galador is a TDN module. I had it with box. I sold it at some point. And it wouldn't be bad to get it again, especially when I have most of the other figures. I do not plan on getting Aquart and Tagar and any of the last wave figures or sets. That's asking a lot. Like, they do ask for a lot for them. I'm sure the pieces are very cool. However, is it worth the cost? For something that I'm hardly going to use? Or use to, like, infrequently? Yeah. Millennium is cool. Or Millennia, sorry. Box is in rough shape for this image, but still understand what it is. Yeah, even Hero Factory, I can't think of anything. And I've had some Hero Factory figures and then let some Hero Factory figures go. I can't think of any right now that I'd be inclined to get back or anything like that. I'm gonna put this in here just because, but I don't hold it to as much like want value as other things. Ninjago City would be great to get again, mostly for the purpose of I've had it twice before. I've bought it from the store when it first came out. I've let go of it. I was able to acquire it again. I let go of it again. So, you know, if it came back around a third time, it would stay. But it's stupidly expensive, first of all. Heavy. And takes up a lot of space. Like, more than your typical modular does as well. So, again, it's not a high priority compared to other sets. I guarantee I'm going to go on the Discord. I'm going to look at a bunch of other LEGO sets that people talk about and think of 100 other things that I would put on this list. Battle for Ninjago City wasn't bad, especially for its time. Would I claim it again? I don't know. It was another one that I was willing to sell, even if it was incomplete. But I don't remember anything specifically that I'm like, yeah, I'd like to play with this again, or I really want to explore this again, or anything like that, you know? Like, if these were full rooms instead of... I mean, it's kind of a room in here, and this is just another play feature. I don't know. Just make it a little more intriguing. I'll throw it in there, why not? As like, oh yeah, I remember this. TMNT is another one I've thought about. I have most of the sets, but I don't have all of them. I do not have all the figures. But I also haven't really been inclined to get the rest of the sets. And I'm not getting the Comic-Con exclusive figs either. It's almost like the ones that I have are enough, and then some. I still have to rebuild some of them. I'd still like to put together the turtle layer. Oh, okay. I stand corrected. There is at least one set. One set I definitely still want to get. And that's the turtle layer from the movie edition of the sets. I don't care for the movie figures, and I've bought the movie sets before and sold some of the figures, or parted out the sets entirely. The Turtle Van in it is not bad. But this is a great playset. So yeah, pull the 180 there. But I'm also kind of glad that there's not a lot I would add to the list, or that I'm like, you know, sitting on with tons of anticipation or anything, you know? Because there's still a lot for me to go through as it is, what I do have. But I also enjoy what I have. So, you know, it's like there's not much more I would add to them that I don't already find enjoyment out of. I'll just search it up. That'll do. Ocean Odyssey. That's a set that's always set on my wanted list in past years. I have the box. I don't even have the parts for the set, but I have the box. And the Atlantis tie-in also helps with it, because it was in an Atlantis teaser. Can we get one without all this muck? guess I'll go to eBay then. I could just take a picture of my own box. I know. What about like the classic space themes, like Ice Planet? I have 1 or 2 sets from them. Small ones, though. I mean, yeah, Ice Planet Defender be a shoe-in. Going to complete 180. Go over to merch. There is a Redbubble shirt based on Cool Kid that I've wanted for a long time. So I'll include that. Because it's like, well, if I've already thought about it this long, then yeah, let's throw it in there. I'm tempted to say Fantasy Era Castle, because while it is my favorite castle theme of all time, even if I've grown up with ones before and after it, I don't want to complete it, and I don't want to use every dime I have to try to complete it. The Dwarves Mine, however, would be great to reclaim. Again, another one I used to own firsthand. But, like, the castle doesn't do anything for me for some reason. Even the more recent castle, I'm like, it's okay. You know, the Lion Knight's castle, majestic as it is, I'm already like, no, that's way too much for what I can handle. For space especially. This one's cool though. It's unique. The Troll Mountain is cool too. I mean, yeah, 375 Yellow Castle. It's a no-brainer. But like the medieval market, as unique as it is, I'm okay passing on that. But like the advent calendar, hell yeah. I did try to make my own troll flagship of sorts, like this. I remember doing that as a kid. Vikings, I'd like to rebuild, but yeah, I more likely would have to find another copy of it. And I did own the Creator Viking, but I didn't ever build it. So I owned it for a very short time. Ooh, that reminds me. I'm gonna have to jump back to Ninjago for the Seabound sets. And maybe also for Skybound. If not all of the sets from Seabound, at least the Endless Sea. I had hands on it, but never built it. This screams Atlantis to me. I also remember it being hard to find these for some reason. Or at least not readily in stock. Maybe the Lighthouse from Skybound? I did own it at one point, even with the figures. I'm a playset kind of guy, what can I say? Vehicles are cool, but playsets are cooler. I still love the Sky Shark. That's one of my favorites from all of Ninjago. And that's a vehicle. Trying to think if there's anything else off the top of my head. Oh, Pink Parrot. I shouldn't have said. I've seen this one a couple times in the stores, and then it fell off, and I wanted it, and I didn't get it. And I only have the blue one right now. Even if it's a very identical build to the other one. Speaking of pinkish birds in Lego Creator. do like the coasters. I gotta put the Pyro Coaster back together. I think that should cover it. So over from here to there. We already put the t-shirt in there. So yeah, it is upgraded as of 2026. There are still a whole bunch in this list that I have low priorities for. There's probably a whole bunch not on this list that I have upper priorities for. But a little refresh is nothing bad. And, again, I don't know if I'm going to post about updates to it, or I'll just, you know, find it and then say, hey, I bought it finally. But yeah, cool. That's in there now. Yep, there we go. Alright, let's get out of here before I think of anything else. Thank you for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. If there's anything else you have thought about it in the comments down below, let me know. And, I don't know what the next LEGO content will be, but eventually there'll be something. Take care.